Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all 10 new gadgets coming with the new update. We're going to be ranking them from all the way to the worst, all the way to the best, to give you guys an idea of what gadgets you want to be picking up with the new update. And then also we're going to be taking a look at all the new balances. I think there's up to 16 balances in total, so I'll give you guys a good idea of what the meta will look like in the update. So before we jump into the video, make sure you're using the create code in the shop. That'd be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Alright guys, so we're going to be starting off this video showcasing all new 10 gadgets coming with the new update. We're going to be starting off from number 10 working our way to number 1. So within number 10 we have Squeak's new gadget, Residues. So I feel like this gadget is really underwhelming. It doesn't really suit Squeak's kit, and it also doesn't really benefit him. It only benefits his teammates. So with this one, with Squeak's next exploding goo blobs, it gives allies sight for 15 seconds. So it can be a little bit useful. I feel like his other gadget's really underwhelming as well, so it might be more useful than the other gadget. But again, Squeak doesn't really have good star powers or good gadgets, so I just feel like this is a bit lackluster, not really going to improve Squeak's game plan overall. Okay, so now jumping into number 9, we have Lola with her new gadget, Stun Double. So I felt like this idea got actually brought up in the community a few times, so it's a really nice idea. I don't think it's going to be better than her other gadget, but anyways, the new gadget, basically whenever you place your super, you're going to be able to teleport to whatever that ego is with a click of a button. So of course this can be really good on certain maps. I can think of like Bridge Too Far, where you can throw your ego on a lane, you can teleport because you're going to be having more HP than that ego. But overall I feel like her other gadget is really strong, so it'll be hard for this one to kind of replace that one, but it's definitely going to be really fun. I'm going to like this gadget. Alright guys, so jumping in at the 8th best new gadget coming with the update, we have Belle's new gadget, Reverse Polarity. So with this gadget, basically with Belle's next attack, you're able to bounce it from walls. So I feel like this can be really good on some maps where, for example, like Backyard Brawl, with some really passive players just hiding behind walls, you can use obviously other walls to bounce and hit into it. But as for like, again, it looks really cool. It can make some nice plays off of it, maybe perhaps to finish off a few weak brawlers. But overall I feel like her other gadget is going to be really strong, so it's going to be an interesting one in the game, but I don't think it's going to be too strong. Okay, so now coming in at number 7, we have a BB with her new gadget called Extra Sticky. So with Extra Sticky, basically with BB's next super bubble, when you press that gadget and activate it and then hit an enemy with that super, they will be slowed for 2 seconds. So I feel like this gadget could actually be really underrated. Of course, you've got to get your super to get value out of the gadget. Her other gadget is pretty strong as well, but I feel like I could be underrating it a little bit, because maybe you could get some good chains, you know, hit multiple people and get up close, cycle your bubble again. It could be pretty toxic, but overall I feel like it's near the middle of the pack in terms of the new gadgets. Alright guys, so coming in at the 6th best gadget, we have Grom's new gadget, Radio Check. So with this gadget, with his next attack, Grom throws 3 buds in rapid succession. So as you've seen on the screen, 3 rapid attacks. So this has potential to be a really good gadget. Even though I'm rating it as like the 6th best out of all the new ones, it can still be an absolutely insane one. So like literally all these next upcoming ones can have the potential to be so strong. So yeah, watch out for this gadget. I feel like it can be so broken. Okay, so coming in at number 5, we have Byron with his new gadget called Full Treatment. So as you can see on the screen, Byron's next attack shoots 3 smaller darts in a cone, but they are 20% less effective with its damage and 40% less effective with its healing. So as you can probably imagine, with Byron being one of the best brawlers in the game, giving him a boosted gadget is just going to be even stronger. It's going to be insane. And a good thing to note as well, with this gadget, it will charge his super as well. So if you hit all 3 shots with that gadget, it's going to be charging your super up fully. So that's just going to be insane. But obviously the little bit of a debuff to the healing and the damage is probably stopping it from being the best gadget, but still has potential to be insane. Okay, so next up at number 4, we have Fang's new gadget called Roundhouse Kicks. So with its gadget, Fang will do like a full 360, and all enemies that are hit will get stunned for 1 second. So although 1 second isn't a long time, I feel like this gives Fang enough time to probably charge his super again. Fang is already top 5 brawler in the game, and with some of the nerfs that are happening, I feel like he's going to be one of the best brawlers. His gadget was a little bit lackluster, so this new gadget is just going to be broken. I feel like this has potential to be the best gadget. Alright guys, so next up at number 3, we have Ems with her new gadget called Acid Spray. So Acid Spray, with Ems's next attack, she can shoot through walls. She can actually shoot through walls. I feel like everyone's worst nightmare has came true with this gadget. It's going to be absolutely broken, especially on those passive maps. The only like counter to this is that you have to use this gadget instead of a knockback gadget, so maybe like aggros can counter Ems even harder, but I still feel like on those passive maps against the right composition, this gadget is just going to absolutely wreck. You do get a 20% debuff to the damage, so at least it's not going to shred you, but maybe if you use bad karma, it's still going to be insanely strong. Alright guys, so coming in at the second best new gadget in the game, we have Ashe with his rotten banana gadget. So on the front of things, this gadget may not seem the strongest, and especially considering like Ashe is one of those like boring brawlers for most people, but I just feel like this is going to be game breaking. This is such a strong gadget. Believe me, once the meta develops, this gadget's going to be so strong. So with this gadget, Ashe loses 20% of its current health, so you might think that's alright, but he instantly gains 50% rage. So as you've probably seen it in the beginning, literally with that gadget and then a normal shot with the first bash star power, it's going to make Ashe fully rage up straight away. So he's going to be able to be rage literally all of the time, and that was the main problem with Ashe. Sometimes it took a little bit too long to get his first rage, but now you're basically able to get it instantly. I just feel like this gadget is going to be insanely broken. Okay guys, and lastly, so the best new gadget coming into the game, in my opinion, I think it's going to be Colette's gotcha gadget. So this gadget has potential to be absolutely busted. So for 5 seconds after activation, Colette's shots heal herself 80% of the damage dealt. So I feel like this is going to counter tanks even stronger. So like the bad thing about Colette, sometimes like you super in and you get pretty weak. Well, with this gadget, you can just pop the gadget, just steal the health from the enemies. It's just going to be absolutely insane. You think you can combine this with like a Byron, for example, maybe like the health gear as well, with her shield star power. With this gadget, she's going to be really hard to kill. So maybe this is what was needed to give Colette a little bit of love. But on heist, I feel like she's going to be unkillable. This gadget seems so strong. Guys, so now moving into the new balance changes. Starting off with the buffs, we're starting off with Mr. P. So Mr. P has got a big change. So just like Daryl and Mortis, he's had his star power reworked to be baseline. So Handle Will Care is now baseline. His briefcases will always bounce, which is a nice change. He's really lacked a lot of range, especially if you don't have star power or use revolving door. So that is pretty nice. But of course, with this star power being baseline, they're probably going to have to, well, they have reworked revolving door, else it would have been too broken. So revolving door, now spawners will have 20% extra HP and 30% more damage, which is okay. And then Handle Will Care has obviously been reworked. Every 4 seconds, the briefcase will deal 40% extra damage. So Mr. P lacks a little bit of damage, so I feel like this might be the better star power. So overall, it's going to be a nice buff. I don't think it's going to put Mr. P like in the top of the meta, but at least now he might be a little bit more flexible and you might see a little bit more Mr. P now. Okay, so now moving into the next buff, we have Brock. So Brock has received 2 buffs. So just like Mr. P, he's had a baseline change. So his incendiary star power is now moved into baseline, which is pretty cool. Maybe they didn't want to touch like Brock's damage or whatever. They thought maybe his base kit was a little bit underwhelming. So now his new star power, called More Rockets, his super fires 44% more rockets. I feel like his super was already really good for damage. Now enemies are going to get absolutely melted with that super. Alright guys, so now jumping into the next buff, we have Jackie with a star power buff. So we have Hardy Hat going from 15% damage reduction to 20%. So a nice buff. Counter Crusher was probably the better star power, but I don't think this is going to really improve Jackie in the meta. Okay, next up we have B. So B has been buffed. Her star power Honeycomb has got a 20% damage reduction to 30% damage reduction. So a 10% buff. I feel like it's not really going to change too much. Maybe for the skilled B players, you might be able to get some value out of that extra shield. But overall, I still feel like our other star power is going to be better. Okay, next up with the buffs, we have Gale's star power Blustery Blows. So with his star power, it has gone from a 1 second stun with a super to 1.5 seconds. So overall, his other star power was probably used a little bit more. Now this star power is getting a little bit more love. And I feel like the chaining of his supers can be pretty toxic, especially on some maps. Gale already was quite a decent pick on some maps, especially countering tanks. So overall, this change is going to really help Gale in the meta. Alright guys, so now moving into the next balance change, we have Griff. So Griff really has fell off the meta recently, especially with the additions to gears. So he's received a nice buff. His main damage attack has gone from 330 to 390. So that's a 60 difference. Griff, as I said, has been really underwhelming, so I feel like this might actually increase his viability in the meta. Okay, so next up we have a buff with Ruff's main attack damage. So his main attack damage has gone from 750 per shot to 840, so this is a big change. Ruff again has kind of fell off in the meta. There's a lot of brawlers that are really aggro, especially with his speed gear, and his damage just wasn't sufficient, so this will be a really nice change. Alright guys, so next up we have Max. So Max's main damage has gone from 450 per shot to 510, so this is quite a sizable change. I feel like Max has for some time now been a little bit underwhelming, especially since the introduction of gears, so this might bring some life to Max. Okay, so now moving into the nerfs. So finally we're going to be seeing a sizable nerf to Grom. So Grom has had a few nerfs. So the first one is going to be Grom's projectile speed is actually now constant. So this is really going to help because especially in some moments you could just spam auto aim and just hit so many of your shots. This is really going to change a lot of interactions. It's kind of like the same as Dynamite with that constant flight speed. And then next up, his super range has gone from 25 tiles to 17. So his super used to be able to hit you from across the map, so now that being nerfed is a nice change to Grom. Alright guys, so next up we have Daryl on the nerf list. So Daryl easily top 2 brawler in the game right now. So his rolling shield used to be 90% damage reduction, it's gone all the way down to 50% reduction. So I feel like this is a really nice change. Daryl just used to chain his supers so much and his damage reduction was insane. He was basically unkillable. You could 1v3 in so many scenarios. I still feel like Daryl's going to be a really strong option, but at least now he isn't unkillable. Alright guys, so moving into the final balance change of the video, we have Tara. So Tara has got a nerf to her attack damage. It's gone from 690 per card to 660. So they felt like Tara was a bit too strong as a lane pick. I didn't think she felt like she was too strong, but a small damage nerf, this might impact her in the meta just a little bit. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think of the balance changes and the gadgets in the comment section below. What would you rank the new gadgets, and also what do you think of the balance changes? So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.